I'm here. Hello, everyone on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Hello, Instagram. I hope that everyone's well. I am joining you today. This is Nicole Louie. I'm the social worker strategy mentor. My role is to help social workers start and develop their independent practice into full-time independence, so that they can have better work-life balance, so that they can enjoy the journey of social work again. So I am joining with you today. Will probably be quite brief today. I have just a few questions that social workers have asked me to answer as it pertains to Social Workers Launch to Freedom. So if you are joining me live on either of the platforms, and let me just share actually on my platform so people know that I'm here. Please do share, let other social workers know that we are having a conversation and that they can join. So please do let them know so that they too can join us and hear what I have to share. I'm sharing it just on IG, so give me a moment. They need it easier. There needs to be an easier way to do this, a quicker way, like to group people or something. Instagram, come up with something. So, hey there to those of you that have joined. Thank you for joining. Yes, if you're watching this on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, please share it with social workers that you know will be interested to learn more. I hope that you've all had a brilliant, brilliant day. So I'm here just to answer a few questions about the Social Workers Launch to Freedom program. It's a program that is currently open for enrollment. As I said, I'm a strategy mentor, which means my sole purpose and passion and love is consulting with you lovely social workers and helping you think about how independence can work for you, and basically holding your hand through the process from ground zero, or even if you're already a semi-independent, to taking it full time without the gaps, so that actually you are able to have longevity and sustainability within your independent practice. So I've got a few questions. I've got 3, 6, 9, 12 questions so far about independence. I think I may have a couple more somewhere that I had noted down in my planner. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to make it as logical as possible. So what is the Social Workers Launch to Freedom program? It's an online program that is basically giving social workers a structured and supported step-by-step guide to starting and developing their independent practice. And why I say starting, because some social workers come to me and they haven't even heard of independence, or they've kind of got an idea of what they think it might be, and actually they're maybe not really clear about what it is. They think it is independent social work is not just doing assessments, but maybe it's actually working through an agency who calls themselves an agency for independent social workers, and that isn't being independent. Like you're still, it's just like working for a local authority within the IR35, where you're using an umbrella company and you're on the PAYE, so you're an employee of the actual agency. The difference with an agency where it's independent, you won't be an employee, you will still raise invoices. So it's kind of a halfway house. You're actually semi-independent at that point for all intents and purposes. But from a practical point of view, you're not necessarily getting or receiving the flexibility, and it's certainly not running your own business independently, where you're actually able to have more longevity, more flexibility that you want. So that's what I mean by developing and starting your independent practice, so that you can actually be fully independent, completely independent. And the clue's in the name. It's like independence, like nobody's telling you what to do. Nobody's telling you when you have to do it. Nobody's necessarily giving you a structure. You create the structure. You're marketing yourself. You're actually the person who's got the coming up with the ideas. You're coming up with the strategies. You're very clear about who your clients are and what they need, and you don't fit your clients into a box, but you have a variety of ways that you can meet their needs. This is what it really encompasses independence, right? And so the program is actually there is designed to actually help you create your actual business, because when you become an independent social worker, that's what it is. You're in business. And I think a lot of social workers aren't aware of that. They think that they're just still a social worker. They don't realize that they're actually a business owner, like they're a CEO. They're actually somebody who is now has a completely different identity, and that means a different mindset, and it means different actions. And so they can be entirely independent. The program teaches you to be entirely independent without relying on government funding or an alternative part-time job to actually exist and bring consistent revenue coming in. And what's even better, the program has 6 months built in to it. So once the program itself, which is a 6-month program, is completed, you actually have 6 months of additional support built in. So as you continue to implement things that you've learned on the course, or you've got more questions, or you want more assistance and support, it is there. So that's really the bonus of it. And so you have a whole year to digest the content, and you have a whole year to access the content. So you don't have to worry about being left in the lurch or left behind, because nobody gets left behind. We're all on the same journey. And that way you can all hold each other's hands and support each other on the journey. So that's really what the Social Workers Launch to Freedom program is. Another question here is, what if, can I do this working full time? So this is a really good question. Now, I always say absolutely. And you know that what I say about time and time management and stuff, but the reality is, yes, as social workers, we are really busy, and the role is very hectic, and it's a very highly pressured job, some days more than others, right? And even some weeks more than others. But the program is really designed especially for busy social workers who are working full time. So this is not going to be a program where you're going to have to be spending hours on end digesting content and writing things and making notes. No, you've got drip fed content, and there are videos for every lesson. For each of the 6 modules, there are several lessons, maybe about 8 lessons in each module. And so you have a whole month to consume that. And the good thing is each lesson is only about a 10-minute video, sometimes less. But each video has a piece of action or content or something that you need to do. And so you go away and you do that. And so the time that I'd say you might want to carve out is half an hour to an hour at most to actually implement. And then you've got some additional things that you can be engaged in that isn't compulsory, but would actually assist you to actually move forwards and digest the content and understand the content. So it's really great for social workers who are very busy, who are tired, who are holding on to lots of anxiety about the future. And so the program will allow you to be supported by me as the facilitator. It isn't anybody else in there facilitating, it's me. So we get to spend a lot of time together. And with a small amount of commitment each week, you'll be surprised how much progress you can actually make. And there are other things that I have, such as my Get Organized, the secret system, and the goal planner and journal that can actually assist you with keeping yourself organized with your workload, and also managing your time really well, and being clear about when you're going to carve out the time, because you have to be intentional with everything. Even if you're going to take up a new hobby, you've got to be intentional with carving it out in your diary, your planner, your Google Calendar, whatever it is that you use, to ensure that you're actually going to commit to it and move forward, because that will enable you to remain focused and get through the program with ease. So that's if you've got a question about, for that, the person asking about if they can do it as they work full time. In terms of how much experience do you need, I went into that quite a bit yesterday. And you'll recall I mentioned that experience is not just your your work experience, rather an experience as in your career, but actually it's your life experience that you're also going to bring in. It's your knowledge, your skills and expertise that you bring into it. And then it's also about the accountability and ensuring that you're taking action into whatever you do. So you've got an understanding as a social worker. It's not so much about a length of years of service, making sure that whatever experience that you have personally and professionally, your expertise, your knowledge, your skills are adaptable, and you're transferring the skills into the area of independence that you want to work in. So a perfect example is if you, before becoming a qualified social worker, you did lots and lots of work in the homelessness sector, and that's the area that you want to work in as a social worker independently, there'd be no mileage in you doing lots of years in a statutory placement or in a private organization that is related to domestic violence necessarily, unless you intend on merging, your business idea would be around services for people who are homeless and experiencing domestic violence, then that will be a connection. But otherwise, your experience needs to be relatable. And so if right now you're in frontline child protection, but your interest will be homelessness, then yeah, absolutely, you've got enough experience, because you maybe have worked 8 years prior or 5 years prior to qualifying as a social worker, and now you're in frontline child protection. You absolutely have enough experience to start the journey of independence, because it's relative. So I hope that answers that question. So another question is, when does the program begin? The program begins the end of April this year. And again, so long as you've got enough experience, I welcome you onto the program. I mean, of course, you can choose to do it if you don't have enough experience, because you might want the knowledge and you might want to take the time to build it out. So it's typically for people who want to be independent within the next year and a half, year to year and a half at the most. But if you wanted to have a longer period of time, you can still do the program. And if you wanted to continue the membership and have access to the content year on year, then you can do that and remain within it and just keep going through the content and the program. So how much do I need to invest? Okay, so the program has been created, as I said, for social workers who are very busy. It's been made for you in mind. So there's going to be 2 types of commitment. Of course, there's going to be a financial commitment, and you'll be able to see the amount. You've got 2 types of ways that you can actually make your payment for the program. You can pay for it all in one go for the entire year, which is where you make the most savings. That's where you make the absolutely most savings. The other way is monthly, and you can cancel at any time. So the current cost of the program per month is £200 per month. And if you pay for it all upfront in a year, you actually will save over £400. There are quick action bonuses that you're actually able to get when you make a payment upfront and in totality. And that's because I like to reward people that make a commitment and make a decision. And so the bonuses that you get are my top 3 recommended personal development books. You get 10% off selected products and services for the year. You get a workbook so that you can actually document everything that you're learning and implementing. And you get invited to an invite-only webinar that will help you a bit more fast track your progress. And there are also referral bonuses for you. That's in terms of the financial commitment. In terms of or investment and commitment, in terms of the practical, the most that you would spend, as I said, is half an hour to an hour. The more you put in, the more you get out. And so I would say as a maximum 2.5 hours, and that would include looking at the content. You might, some people on the program enjoy just binge watching all the lessons, because when the module drops, all of the lessons are available and you can go through it. Because they're like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 3 minutes long, you can actually watch all of them and then make all the notes, make your action plan, and then go ahead and implement it. So it really depends on how much you want to put into it, but I would say a minimum of 30 minutes to an hour, maximum 2.5 hours for the week. And that is very achievable when you think about spreading it throughout the week. So that's in terms of the investment. And so what I do recommend is that you carve out the time. Again, just being really intentional, carving out the time is going to be really important. And a good way to do it is maybe spreading it out throughout the week. I know social workers' lives are really busy in the week, but it equates to just 30 minutes a day if you were to look at 2.5 hours. And that would mean that your weekend can be free. You don't have to do any of it on the weekend. Now, you might prefer to do it all on the weekend and carve out the time then, and that's fine too. But for those of you with a family, you might find that difficult. You might prefer just to do work stuff all in the week and then enjoy your weekend for yourself. So are there any other commitments? So I built into the program weekly classes, which will deepen your understanding of the content, but it will also allow you to complete the activities per lesson. So for example, they're going to be live how-to tutorials where you actually learn how to do things like creating your own flyer to market yourself, being able to set up your systems on your laptop, so you know the kind of folders that you should have to set yourself up. Whatever it is that's very practical that you might need to do, creating a landing page so that you actually have somewhere where people can come to, what your website should look like, all those things, you'll get a how-to tutorial. There are also master classes, so I have people that are experts in various fields coming to talk about the industry and what you need to be thinking about, so you're getting that learning. So you're going to have things like that, and of course a Q&A, and there'll also be a movie night where we're going to learn and watch a webinar or a video where we're actually able to do some deeper learning and apply it to our business, so it will be relatable. And these things again are just there to deepen your understanding and digest the content, so you're going to have more success, right? Because this is a process. This 6-month process is you actually creating your business, right? That's what you're going to be doing. So it's important that you really understand what you need to be doing. So there's another question, or when can I expect to get billed? So depending on which option you take, your monthly membership will be monthly. You can cancel at any time, and your annual. What if I created options to help you think about which is be the best for you to budget? And I want you to think about, this is how I want you to reframe it. I want you to think about, can you afford to not do it? Because most social workers, when they come to me, they're just at they're in such a place where they are struggling so much. They are feeling so burnt out. They're feeling desperate. They feel like they need things to change because their life is changing right now. Things are coming up for them that they want to be able to get a handle on and deal with. And delaying and prolonging things just means that they're not moving forward. And the reality is, unless you're going to do something like my one-to-one program, which is 3 months, it's going to take time to build your business, to have a solid infrastructure. And so the sooner you start and the longer the run, the better for you. And so when you think about the time and money that you're going to save, not to mention the feelings of being stuck right now, you need to be asking yourself, can you afford to not do this? And when we're fully committed to ourselves and to our purpose, we start getting resourceful and we understand where we can get support from to be able to afford things. And sometimes about budgeting for it, it's about saving for it and choosing the best option. And so that's what I would say to that. And I know what it can be like when you need to invest in something. It can be scary. I've been there many a times. I can tell you, as somebody who's running a business and I didn't know what I was doing, I absolutely had to bite the bullet on many occasions and pay for things that I wasn't sure whether it was going to work and things like that. But I did it. So, okay. So what type of social worker is this program for? So this is ideal if you are a permanent social worker, if you're an agency social worker, or even semi-independent. And I want to say that even if you are in management, it's a good option for you. Depending on where you are in management and what you're doing, you may prefer the fast track option. That's a lot of to work with me, the one-to-one, but absolutely the group program is also very helpful. And so whether you're a manager, a senior practitioner, and even if you're newly qualified, but you are experienced in the area in which you want to become independent, it will be a good option for you. So yeah, experienced social workers, if you've been qualified for 4, 5, 6 years. I know a lot of social workers that want to do the program have been qualified for 10 years, 15 years. Most people are at the same place, regardless of what your experience level is in social work. Social workers are coming to me at the exact same place, which is I don't know how to start or develop my independent social work practice, but I know it will work for me because I want more flexibility. I want more quality work-life balance, all of those things. So everyone's starting in the same place, which is a really good thing. So, so what if you feel the Social Workers Launch Their Freedom program isn't for you? What else is available? So some social workers prefer to be totally self-directed in their learning. They might like more intensive and focus support. So it depends. So if let's talk about the mentoring, there's one-to-one mentoring that you can do, which is the Accelerate Now mentoring program that I do. I do 2 programs. One is a 2-month and the 2-month program is for social workers who are in local authority, but they're not planning on being independent necessarily for about another 2 to 3 years. And so we get them just thinking about what independence might look like, but more so helping them to get organized, getting a structure, getting on top of their caseload so that they can actually see the step and creating a bit of a vision about independence. So that's a 2-month program. The 3-month program is where people more usually want to apply and come to work with me on a one-to-one. And that's for social workers who want to be independent within 6 months to a year and a half. And so we do the 3-month program, then they have another 3 months, obviously, where they can utilize their launch strategy that we create together, and they can actually go forward and do that. So the Accelerate Now mentoring program is very comprehensive, very, very detailed, and I create your business with you. So that's the difference between the Social Workers Launch the Freedom program and the Accelerate Now, is that on the Accelerate Now, I'm actually building your business with you. So week on week, we are doing the work together. So you go away and there's nothing really much more for you to be doing. Whereas with the Social Workers Launch the Freedom program, yes, you are going to be looking at the lessons, but you go away and do the work as opposed to us doing it together in that respect. So that's the if you want the one-to-one and the mentoring and the more focused and intensive work. If it's self-directed, then people can come to me and they come forward, they get clarity consultation. So that can come in the form of a strategy consultation or a discovery for social workers who are at a bit of a crossroad. They're not quite sure how to utilize their skills and they might want just a bit of a rough map that can help them start thinking about independence and give them some pointers of what they can do. They can go away with a map. And similarly for strategy, they know that they want to be independent and they want help to figure it out. So they get a rough outline and they get to a map of what they need to be working on, and they go away and look at my free content that's out there and they figure it out and put it together, and they go off and do it. And for people that are very, very self-directed, that are accountable, that will get it done and won't kind of say, oh, I'm too busy and, you know, I'll put it off and we'll procrastinate. So that's another option. And I have Business Starter Bootcamp for social workers that is also available that I've done. It's a replay that people can get access to. So yeah, there's that. And of course, there's my 5 simple steps to independent social work status. So those are the other options if you feel that for the person that was asking that, if the program isn't right for you at this time. How long can I access the content? So you've got 12 consecutive months to access the program and the content, and you'll have access to the private Facebook community when you enroll, when the program begins. And if you need more time, then you can implement you can continue to implement by remaining and staying on another year, basically. So you can just restart your membership. Yeah. And again, you can do it either or. So if you paid annually, but then want to switch to paying monthly, you can do that, or vice versa. Do I have to be qualified to be on the program? So the program is for qualified social workers, yes. But I appreciate that there might be people in other disciplines, psychologists or teachers even, or other people that may be family support workers that could do the program. The information will be relevant because it's in the industry, and I'll take you through the same process. So it is possible, but just bear in mind that much of the content and the language is going to be geared towards social work, right? But yeah, you are absolutely welcome to join if you wanted to. I've got one more. Oh no, I think that is it. Actually. I think that is it. Oh no, here's another one. On my emails. Okay, so somebody says, what if I'm going through my own difficulties, and what if, you know, the stress of work gets in the way? So here's the thing. This is why it's great for as a community, that it's a program as a community, because we're there to support one another, and there is the accountability. And one of the modules that we actually cover is looking at what's happening in life for you right now, personally and professionally. You're not expected to share that information because, of course, it's confidential, but it's actually a thing where it's part of the program where we look at what's going on for you, and you actually create systems. You take stock of the difficult areas that you might need to address or that might pop up, so that you're going to be very prepared for the journey, because the reality is life happens, and I can testify to that. Having gone through the journey myself, without really knowing what I was doing. I was going in blind, and things were popping up like detonators around me at times, because we have those seasons. And because just life happens to everybody. And so I learned that I had to really have things in place. I had to have systems. I had to have people that were helping me and supporting me to get through the processes, and to actually remain focused, so I wasn't falling off track, and so I wasn't losing focus. So we're going to look at certain things that might be of particular difficulty for you at this time, and think about how you can plan for it, so that when and if they crop up, you're okay, you're able to manage, and you're not going to fall off. And that includes work, is personal and professional. Yeah. So if you've got health, I think it was something there around health issues as well. If you've got health issues, again, that will come into it. We're going to think about how can you manage. I'm battling health issues myself at the moment, but yet I have things in place so that it does not interfere with my day-to-day. It doesn't hinder me or stop me from, you know, showing up for my clients, for yourselves, for doing the work that needs to be done, and to make sure that I'm supporting you in the right way. So yeah, that is not an issue. I want you to know that wherever you are on your journey, however you feel, whether you feel deflated, whether you feel like, oh, I'm not sure I'm going to be any good at this, I want you to know that there is a space for you. You know, it's about you being around the right people at the right time and doing that consistently. Anytime you want to get to somewhere or you want to achieve something, you have to be around people that have done it or are doing it. Because you know, if you just stay around people that are in the same mindset as you, which is fearful, uncertain, unsure, you're not going to be able to help each other. Like the blind leading the blind, like there's not going to be any of you that can say this is what needs to be done. If you're around people that can do that, that's where your confidence grows, your belief grows, and you're actually able to really move forward. Somebody's asked, what exactly does it cover, the modules? So there are 6 modules. There's pre-work, getting started, launch phase 1, 2, and 3, and then launch. And so really, in a nutshell, I can say that you're going to learn how to create a solid business infrastructure. You're going to plan and create your customer base, These are the main important things, which is what we refer to as a niche. So drilling down, really knowing who your customer is, understand how to bring in consistent revenue every single month, how you can serve and empower your clients to make sure that they are repeat clients, because, you know, you might be able to make a sale once, but you need to be able to repeat that. And that's so that you can, by doing that, you need to know how to serve and empower the people that you are working for and with. So you're going to learn how to market yourself, how to network, and so you can become well known, and so people come to you and you don't necessarily have to go to them. You're going to develop your confidence. In particular, you're going to be developing your confidence as a business owner, because again, this is a total mindset shift, and you're going to have a new identity. You're going to be a business owner, right? And so you're going to learn how to balance your personal and your business life, because again, that can look very different also. I remember when I moved from being like in a position of being an employee and working for somebody where the parameters were set for me. I had my hours that were ordained for me. All the systems, the processes, the people that were able to help me administratively, you know, I knew where to go to if I needed certain types of information. Like all of that gets stripped away, and you have got to create that. And so I had to do all that for myself. And so it's a completely new role. It's a new identity, and it's learning what you need to do. And it can take time to figure out all the moving parts in order. And so the program teaches you that it takes the guesswork out. You're not having to struggle and figure out, oh God, well, what should I be doing here or at this point? Like, it's done for you. You've got the blueprint. So your confidence will certainly grow. You're going to be able to balance your personal and your business life effortlessly as a result of that. And you're going to decide the best time for you as to when you become independent. So when you start the journey doesn't mean that you're going to be independent instantly. It means you're starting the journey. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, well, I do want to be independent, but maybe in a year or so time, I've got some things going on now. You should be starting now. You absolutely want to be looking at what's going on for you right now. How can you get a handle on it and manage it so that you can even carve out half an hour a week or a fortnight to actually do the work? And that is possible. Like you heard me answer somebody's question about the investment in terms of time, and I spoke about it being 30 minutes to an hour, but as a maximum 2.5 hours per week. If you were to do it 30 minutes to an hour every week, then over a course of a year, you can complete the entire program. Whereas if you maybe do 2.5 hours, you'd be able to get it done a lot quicker, maybe in less than that time. Yeah, you might spend 7 or 8 months, or just the 6 months by itself. So it really depends on the time that you want to put into it. But what I would say is that you want to be clear about when is going to be the best time for you to actually move into independence for yourself. And that's going to be different for different people because of your market that you're serving. Depends on whether you're already semi-independent and have got some kind of structure and you're just filling in the gaps, or whether you're completely brand new and starting it out completely. It really depends on how many services, products that you're going to be providing and what they're going to be. So that's what I will say to that in terms of what you're going to cover. I don't think there are any more. Let me look here. Okay, so somebody asked, how have you found the journey, and what has been the most difficult thing on the journey? So this is a good question. How have I found the journey? I'm not going to lie to you. It was a shell shock initially. It's been fun. Overall, how I would describe it is it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned so much. And I would say it was a shell shock in terms of every time I've kind of learned something, there's been then something else to learn as well. So you're always developing. And I think that's kind of what led me to do the program, is because I realized that it's like going down a rabbit hole. like you go deeper. I'm not about being superficial. I'm really about diving deep. And when you're really serving, and when you're running a business and you're being independent and trying to help people, you have to do that. You have to go deep. And I guess I liken it to when, you know, on frontline social work practice, we go deep with our clients, don't we? There's a lot of work that goes into it. You know, we're not just rocking up to a visit. We're being clear. We're reading and auditing their cases and being clear about what's been the history. We're doing extra reading and additional learning and talking with professionals who are proficient in the particular issues that our clients are facing. We're thinking about and hypothesizing why something is happening, and then we're testing those hypotheses. We're doing direct work, and we're planning that direct work. We're planning what other people need to be doing and putting them in place to do it. We're reviewing all the time. We're assessing, we're reassessing, we're having supervision and checking out, you know, how we're progressing with the plan that we're making. We're doing forecasting and thinking, what is the timescale for this child, for this parent, for this adult? Why is this timescale important? You know, we're doing a lot. We're going very deep with our clients, but it's just that all of these things are prescribed and mandated by legislation. And when we become independent, and this is what I learned, I had to transfer the same skills and do the same thing, but I had to have a knowledge of who I was serving and why I was serving them and what they needed. And so I just had to figure that out and understand how I translated it into the same way. So it's been a learning curve in that sense, because the more I've learned from the business point of view, the things that I've needed to make all of that happen, once I transferred that knowledge, I realized, okay, I need to go deeper. I need to now do this. Okay, so now I need to provide that. How's the best way for them to digest this information? Okay, so let me create this. And I guess that's the kind of learn that I've done. In terms of the hardest thing, I would say sometimes it's a lonely road. So I've worked hard to learn that I've needed to remain connected. And I've doubted myself quite a few times along the journey, actually. Yeah, quite a lot. Imposter syndrome was a big thing that I had to get over, but I have learned to kick its butt. It shows up sometimes occasionally and gets me occasionally, but it's very rare. And, you know, I have the tools to use to manage it. And I think that's the number one thing that I've learned. And that's what I mean when I say I've really grown, because I've learned how to do things. I've learned about, I didn't even know imposter syndrome existed. So I've had some other launchers tell me that as well, actually. When they looked at the video, they were like, oh, I didn't know this existed, but it makes sense. This is what I experienced. So that's a thing. So I'd say that that's the some of the hardest things, like the loneliness and making sure that I'm well connected. And this is why I teach in the program. It's included in that as well, ensuring that you've got a personal and professional network that will keep you going. It doesn't mean that you lose connection with whoever you're with now, but when you embark on this journey as it relates to independence, you need a network of people that are like-minded, that are on the same journey, that get it, and that are in business. So you learn how to develop those networks, and not just independent social workers as your network, but just people in business generally. Doesn't matter what industry they're in, because working for yourself is about a certain mindset. And so you learn how to do that very strategically. So yeah, I'd say those are the things that were the hardest for me, I guess. But yes, overall, I would say I just love the journey and enjoying it. So I don't think there are any more questions that I have. I don't have any more in on my email. I don't have any more here that I can see. Let me check. There's none on Instagram, and there's none coming up here on StreamYard. So you're very welcome, Ayanda. And so with that said, if you have any other questions, just put it in the comment section underneath. this video, and I will, as always, go and check on them and reply and whatnot. You can also DM me. So a lot of people just like DMing me and sending me private messages. I don't know why. I think it's that we're shy. I don't know. Social workers shy, introverts. Yes, I guess we can be. But I want to encourage you to put it on the comment section, because of the fact you'll be surprised. There will be other social workers that will have the same questions. And even if they don't, it might be a question that somebody says, I never even thought of that. That's a good idea. I need to think about that. And so if it's there for the public viewing, then I can respond to it publicly and everyone learns. So Corinne is saying how to manage with paying your taxes. That's a brilliant question. How do you manage not just paying your taxes, paying your bills, paying yourself, making sure that you've got profit in the company? These are all things that you learn. So I'm going to teach you on the program a specific strategy. That's twofold. First and foremost, it's around your pricing and your pricing structure. So there are lots of different structures, pricing structures that you could utilize. You're going to get a couple of those on the program, and so you're going to be able to apply those to the different products and services that you're going to be creating. And then once you've done that, you're going to get the formulas and a spreadsheet that's going to help you budget and manage your finances month on month. And even week on week. And that can also go hand in hand. When you have completed the program, what I encourage you to do is to move on to the Independent Social Workers Goal Plan and Journal Edition, because this is a hybrid of the Social Workers version and the Business Edition. So the Social Workers Edition and the Business Edition, which actually has included in it, this is my April to June one. I'm Friday, I'm going to be filling this in, but it actually has in it things like, well, CPD. You can record your CPD stuff in here, and every day you can record it, but it also has project deadlines. I'm also going to show you one of the other pages. Apart from reaching your goals, it has the money section where we actually look at logging your expenses, your finances, your budgeting. So this is projection as well. So you have a sales log of what you've sold week on week, how many units, whether you sold online and offline. It helps you manage your budgeting and your personal finances as well, and forecasting, and then your financial goals and your projection, and looking at your conversions. So this is the Independent Social Workers version. So that's the version that I encourage you to switch to once you've done the program, because that will go in tandem with the spreadsheets and the templates that you will get on the program, so that you can actually fill that in as you start going. By the end of the program, you would have already had an income stream that you would have set up and that you should be utilizing and bringing money in. Okay, so in terms of how to manage paying your taxes, there's definitely a way in which to do that, so that you're remaining on top of it, so that you've got pockets of money all the time as money comes in, so you're not going to be kind of left destitute. So, and you're going to learn how to actually start getting out there and making money without actually even spending anything initially. To, like, you don't have to go and start paying for a huge website or branding yourself. You can actually do it just with branding on a zero budget, and start advertising yourself and utilizing social media. I teach you how to do that. You get to set up your social media profiles, all of these things to actually get out there and start bringing money in. So Phil asks, so there is nothing stopping us setting up and calling ourselves independent? Absolutely not. There's no legality around, you know, calling yourself an independent social worker. The social worker is the bit, that is the point, because obviously you need to be qualified to be a social worker. But that goes back to what I was saying before about your level of experience. If I literally have just finished my social work degree and I've just got my paper in my hand yesterday, I'm now a qualified social worker. I can go and set up independently, so long as my experience is enough in the field in which I want to go forward independently. So I did a lot of work in domestic violence, for example. If that's the area that I want to go into, but I've only just begun working in a local authority, I don't need to stay in the local authority to go and be independent. I've got enough experience where I've been working to go and do that. Does that make sense? So yeah, there's no issue about calling yourself independent so long as you're actually independent, and it's ensuring that you understand what independence is. So I covered it right at the beginning. I don't know if you were here, but independence, there's the big differences between independent and even semi-independent. So full independence is where you know who your target audience is. And by that, I do not mean the local authority. They are not your clients. Your clients are the people who are affected by what you do. So the assessments that you write about them, the products, the services, the engagement, the direct work, your clients are what you would call in local authority service users. They're your clients when you are independent, because they want a service from you. You're fully independent in that you are not wholly being funded totally by one particular company or organization or government body, but rather you have a variety of services, products, different income streams, and these are all related to helping your clients move forward and make the transformations of getting them from where they are right now, which is stuck and whatever it is they're going through, to where they want to be. Yeah, and what the solution is that you provide. And it's filling a gap in the service. It's filling the gaps of where local authorities, don't have those services to refer to, or where voluntary organizations don't have to refer to, or where the people themselves don't have a place that they can go and commission this service themselves. Yeah, so that's what being fully independent means. So if you're going to call yourself independent social worker, it's not ideal, in my view, in terms of my definition of understanding what full independence is that if you're just working through an agency who works and set themselves up for independent social workers and they're churning out work and giving it to you, you're not actually really independent, because you've still got somebody telling you how, when, for how long. And there's no real autonomy. There's no real flexibility. I'm able to work abroad when I want to. Last year I was in Trinidad for 6 weeks, and I extended it to 2 months because I could do that. The year before I went to Malaysia for a month. And when I got back, I went to Wales a few times, Scotland. I did what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And I was still able to serve people online, offline. And so that's really what independence is about. So, and I'm looking forward to seeing you, Phil, on the program. Ria says, is the spreadsheet budget and costing a part of the community program that you said? Yes, it is. Yes, it absolutely is. You'll get those as well as other things. You're going to get terms and conditions. There are going to be some cheat sheets as well. There are going to be some reference documents. What else? I don't want to give it all away. There's juicy content, though. There is juicy content. Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm excited. Really looking forward to serving you, Ria. Okay, any other questions for me? If not, I'm going to wrap it up. And as I said, if you have any other questions, okay, I'm excited about that, Phil. I'm looking forward to seeing you and serving you. Yep. You told some things, yes. Yeah, I'm trying not to give it all away because I want there to be some surprise. And actually, right at the beginning of the program, I have got something really nice that we're going to be doing as a community. And it's the first time I'm going to be doing this. And so I'm really excited to be doing this in the community. And that's going to be like a little surprise. I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm very excited about it. And it's just going to gear us up, and really, it's going to be amazing for us moving forward for the rest of the program. It's going to be something that you've probably never done before in a program, but it's very exciting. So I'm looking forward to delivering that with you guys. Sophia asked, when is it starting? It starts at the end of April. So 25th of April. We have our opening ceremony, and then you get, the modules get dropped from the week after. So there's a week of settling in period, and that's when something exciting that I'm not going to say is going to be happening that week. I'm excited. So yes, so you have the page. If you go to my website, you'll see right up the top, it will give you more information about the Social Workers Launch Your Freedom Program. You can go onto the page and you can read about it there. You can look more about the price points. You can read also who it's for and who it's not. And maybe it would be worth me just saying that. I can read it off the page actually. This program is not for you if you don't really want to change your mindset, career, or your life, or you're not ready to learn different ways to be independent, or if you only want to make a little bit of progress or no progress at all. It's not really for you. And I say that might sound strange, but there are some people that are just comfortable in their uncomfortableness, right? They don't want to move. Remember when we did the 10-day challenge? And we spoke about moving out of your comfort zone into the zone of fear and then learning, and you're moving forward in your goal. Like, this is going to be it for a lot of you. A lot of you are going to be watching this and thinking, sounds good, but yeah, I can't see it working for me. Or yeah, I like to do it, but, and you're coming up with all the excuses known to man and beast to stop you from progressing. If that's you, I'm going to say, stop it. Stop it. I know what it's like. I know what it's like when you're dithering and you're duthering, but I'm telling you, this will be life-changing. And the thing about coming out of your comfort zone is that you have to be willing to step into the place of fear. You've got to be willing to do it and know that you're feeling fearful and saying, okay, I'm going to survive this. And I want you to think, like, social workers, come on, we work with people at kind of crisis points. And I'm talking specifically, especially to those like in children and families. Like, we take parents down some roads where they are scared shitless, right, of losing their child. And sometimes I've worked with families and they think I'm only coming in to do, back then we did an initial assessment, not a single assessment. And they are bricking it like, oh my God, you want to take my child away? And I'm like, I'm literally here just to do an assessment. It's, in my mind, it's really not that deep, because the allegation is not even like high concern, but they are bricking it. They're thinking like their child is going to be taken away. And, you know, we've got to be involved with families like that. And we say to them that they can get through it. And we encourage them to work with us and to make changes when they are very scared, when they are going through the most stressful time that they're going to ever go through. And yet we can't make a decision to just do a course or do a program or go and get a mentorship or take the step to go and watch some videos on YouTube or talk to somebody and change our career and start working towards it. Like, what is the real consequence here? What is the worst that's going to happen? If the worst that happens is if you decided that you went for it and actually it worked, but you're like, actually, I don't really like this independence. I much prefer a 9 to 5 or a 8 to 8. I much prefer that. Then you could just go back to it. Just go back to it. The local authority will wait in there. Open arms, come back to me. They will gladly take you back. Like it's a no-win. You know, you can't fail. It's a win-win. Like there is no loss here, right? So you have to think about that. And I say that tongue in cheek, but I'm being serious when I say social workers, like, we put parents through it. So we have to be able to have the guts to make some decisions for ourselves, because we expect parents to make really difficult decisions and show up and make changes that are generational patterns, you know, in the blink of an eye to suit our time scale and our agenda. And so if we preach to parents that they have to do it, then we have got to have the guts to know to do it ourselves as well, for our benefit and for their benefit, because ultimately it's those kind of people we want to work with, right? We come into social work because we actually want to help those people. We actually want to see them make a difference. We want to stop the revolving door syndrome that we see time and again, where we have generations of families coming to our notice, or even the same generation. And this is now the 7th episode that they're known to social services. Like, we want to help them get out of that cycle. The best way for us to do it is to start working independently from grassroots level, where we start putting in preventative measures all the way to where they're at social services door. How can we help rein them in so they never have to go down that road again? You know who wins? They win. Their children win. Their parents win. Their grandparents win. Everybody wins. The local authorities win, because then they don't have to deal with the family again. right? They have less of a caseload. They can just focus on the really high risk stuff. Everybody wins. But it starts with you making a decision, the right decision, to actually bite the bullet and make a decision to show up and live the dream and live the purpose that you say you want to live, and do the work that you say you want to do as a social worker. You have to have the guts to do it. You have to. Yeah. Hey there, Emerson. Lovely to see you. Sophia's got the emojis where she's got a hand on her face. Am I saying something? Sophia, am I saying something? Girl, we have to do it. And I know that it can be scary. And I think most people are not like me, where I've told you this before, right? That I do things before thinking. Sometimes I'm very spontaneous. True story. I've had my eyes lasered. Let me tell you how I got into that. Let me tell you how I ended up laying on the table where they cut the 3 layers of my eyeballs open. Let me tell you how I got there. I was at a friend's house. This commercial came on about laser in your eyes, and both of us were 4 eyes at that time, and we looked at each other and we said, oh, that looks quite good. So we thought, oh, we'll go along for, they invite you to come along for a free consultation. So we'll go along to that. We called it straight away. I think with the consultation was literally the next week. And so we went along, and before we knew it, we were signing on the dotted line because we saw all the testimonials and they talked us through the process. And then the week after that, it was literally happened in it was a ridiculously short space of time, all within a month. We ended up in Harley Street, and it wasn't until I was sat in the reception room and I was handing over my glasses, my Prada glasses, to be recycled, that I thought, I said to her, they're actually going to cut my eyes open. How has this happened? How have I got here? It all happened very quickly. It all started to rush in very quickly. And then so I was laying on the table and they put the drops in. And so it just feels like this. Like if you do this to your face right now, you can feel your hand and you can feel, the skin moving, but there's no pain, right? That's what it was. They just put eye drops and then you lay back. They put something in your eyes so it stays open. And he takes the knife and he cuts the first 3 layers of your eyes, and then he lifts it up, and then you look at a red light. And it was literally like going into a sweet shop, buying a sweet and coming out. Like he lasered it. I looked at the light. It was being lasered. He put the layers back over, and then did the other eye. I moved underneath the laser. He said, in all my 15 years, nobody's moved, but Nicole moved. Nicole moved under the laser. And so, it was so quick. And then we went out. They told me not to tell my friend that I moved under the laser. And we went out, and I can remember it was on Oxford Street because we went to Harley Street, and I could see the number 10 bus coming. My eyes were restored. So it seemed like it was a little scary initially, but you know what? I did it. I didn't chicken out. I stayed and I went the course. And that was how many years ago? More than 10 years ago now. My eyes have been done. I have 20/20 vision. Every time I go to the optician, they tell me I have 20/20 vision, and they rarely see people that perfected prescription, but I have 20/20 vision. So you see, it was scary at the time, but I did it. And sometimes you just have to bite the bullet. You just have to go for it and not think too much about what you're doing or why. You just need to know that there's a process. You need to know, is this what I need? Even though I'm frightened about it, I need to go for it. So with that said, I'm going to invite you guys to really think about it, and not think about it too much, but make a decision. I want you to think about making a decision on a serious note. And this is not going to come around all the time. I'm going to be doing this once a year, likely. And so this is your opportunity. The opportunity is now. Enrollment closes soon. And so I really want you to be making a decision. And so I look forward to seeing you on the program. And if you have any other questions, just pop them, as I said, at the bottom of this video, and I will gladly answer them for you. Okay, it's better to do that than DM me, because it means other people can see the question and get the answer as well. So I will go into the comments and still answer them here again, so people have it without having to watch the whole video. Okay, thank you so much for your contributions and everything like that, you're welcome. And looking forward to serving you very soon. God bless you. Have a lovely night.